Part 110. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 1092. Long Hao glanced around the place again, but found nothing. He nodded at Mo and left. Mo looked at his back and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the person disappearing from sight. "Who is he?" a feminine voice suddenly sounded in her ears. Mo was startled and whispered, "Why did you come out? What are you afraid of?" The visitor chuckled, "Other than you, no one else can see me or hear me." The voice said again, "Tell me first, who is this person?" Mo said, "There is a person I met on the show named Wen Hao. I don't know the rest." "Wen Hao?" The voice muttered the name and chuckled, "He seems to be very simple." Mo was a little nervous. "What do you mean?" The voice said, "The aura on his body is a bit strange. He is obviously a stranger, but he seems to have a trace of yin qi." "But how can there be yin qi on a living person?" "But he has yin qi on him, and he is indeed a human being. A vibrant person." Mo was a little nervous by his description. What does this mean?" When she asked this question, she felt a chill in her ears, as if someone was whispering in her ear. "You won't understand even if I tell you, little Momo. Haven't you always said that you are very grateful to me and want to repay me? Now, I will give you this opportunity." Momo's heart lifted up because of these words. She was a little confused. How to repay? "I've taken a liking to this man's body. If you find a way to get close to him, it's best to make an appointment with him and go to a place where no one is around. The rest of it is so low that it seems like it doesn't exist." But Mo really heard it and shuddered hard. Mo, who was talking, and the invisible man didn't know that their conversation was not heard by the real owner, Long Hao, but was listened to by another couple who were eating melons. Jinli listened to the conversation between Mo and the jade pendant weapon spirit and said, "Wow, is it so exciting? There is an weapon spirit that can't get over it and wants to seize the big ice cube called Long Hao." Lu Zhenjie said, "Although I don't like that Long Hao very much, I have to admit that his body, which is on the edge of life and death, is really what those things like." Jinli said, "I'm looking at that weapon spirit. It's very old. A weapon spirit that's thousands of years old is very capable for a cultivator in this world. I'm afraid Long Hao won't be aware of his existence. Should I remind him?" "Forget it, I'll just remind him." Although Lu Zhenjie felt that his mother-in-law was worrying too much, he did not stop her. "It's a small thing like this, and it's good that now Po is happy. Secondly, the Divine Supervision Bureau has also solved several troubles for him in the human world. Although he has given corresponding feedback, he thinks that the relationship between the two parties is an ordinary exchange of interests. After careful calculation, it can be regarded as 2 points of friendship." Long Hao received Jinli's message when he returned to the room. "Jinli, big ice cube, let me tell you something important." Ice cube Long Hao : "Jinli, do you want to hear this or not?" Ice cube Long Hao: "It depends on whether you want to say it or not." Jinli: "This is why she always dislikes Long Hao. Look, how unflattering is this statement. But she just wanted to say it." Jinli: "I saw that someone is coveting your body. Update completed. Good night. If you have a monthly pass, please vote for it. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess." Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 1094. Ice Cube Long Hao : This time he asked one more question. "Ice Cube Long Hao, what do you mean?" Jinli thought about it and felt that the matter was too complicated and typing was too tiring. Long Hao received a long voice message. The content of the voice was the gossip Jinli heard. After hearing this, Long Hao said nothing. Jinli: "Jinli, don't you have any reaction?" Ice Cube Long Hao: Wait for them to come. He originally came here because of Mo and the strange things happening to her. Unexpectedly, the other party also targeted him. That's just right. He was ready and waiting for the other party to take the bait. Jinli asked kindly, "Do you need help?" Long Hao refused. Ice Cube: Long Hao, thank you, but it's not necessary. He knew that he could seek help from Jinli and Lu Zhenjie for this kind of matter, and for these two people, this kind of matter might indeed be nothing and could be solved with a wave of their hands. But it is always better to rely on yourself than relying on others. No matter how powerful the reinforcements are, it is better to strengthen yourself. People in Hua country have known this truth from a long time ago. Jinli thought about it and decided that this would be a good idea. She had already secretly decided in her heart, we would see what happens when the time comes. It would be fine if Long Hao could handle it, but if the other party couldn't handle it, she would quietly help. Who makes the little fairy be a kind and beautiful little fairy? Right now, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. After talking to Jinli, Long Hao put his phone aside and sat on the bed to meditate. The cell phone buzzer suddenly rang. Long Hao opened his eyes and stretched out his hand. It's Mo. Mo, Wen Hao, are you asleep? This is the first time Mo has privately chatted with himself since they both added WeChat. Long Hao thought for a while, maybe the other party is preparing to take action? He ignored it. In less than half a minute, another message came over. Mo, Wen Hao, I'm really afraid of the ropeway tomorrow. Mo, there really won't be any surprises, right? Wen Hao, no, there will be a safety rope and the safety facilities will be checked. Mo. She looked at the reply from the other side and fell into silence. Is this Wen Hao stupid? This late at night, I sent him this kind of message alone. Could he not feel it? What does it mean? She pursed her lips, remembering the request made by the man in red in the pendant, and could only bite the bullet and continue. Mo, but I'm still scared. Mo, Jinli and Mr. Lu are husband and wife, and Lu Shen and Miss Su are also good friends. Wen Hao, the two of us can only take care of each other. Shake hands. Long Hao looked at the text she sent and realized what she meant. Are you trying to get along with yourself? Or, take the opportunity to build a relationship with yourself? Long Hao's entire face was filled with an aura of rejection, but he also remembered his mission. Wen Hao, don't be afraid, I will protect you. He tried his hand twice, but still couldn't type the words I will protect you, so he could only add we at the end. For him, this was already an incredible compromise. Normally, the dragons would simply ignore this kind of meaningless conversation, even if it was their own teammates. However, Mo was still dissatisfied. This level was far from the level of intimacy she wanted. The man in red will not be satisfied either. Mo, well, let's make an agreement, you have to take care of me tomorrow. There are only 3 girls in the show, and they are all taken care of. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 1095. In fact, the team of the program Travel With Me is one of the gold medal variety show teams in the industry. They are quite mature in all aspects and cannot possibly neglect a single guest. Mo knew this very well. Long Hao wasn't that clear, but just because he didn't pay attention to these things didn't mean he didn't have the eyes to see. Mo's meaning was already quite obvious. Long Hao frowned. In his past life, thanks to this face, he had faced similar situations more than once. Under normal circumstances, when faced with such a situation, he would reject a girl's advances without hesitation and without any mercy. But Mo doesn't seem to be able to. She had a purpose in getting close to him, and it was best for him to let nature take its course, because he also needed to get close to Mo and get something. But he is really not good at dealing with people, especially such ambiguous interactions. Long Hao decided to ask others for help. His first thought was to seek help from his companions in the supervision bureau. However, I just clicked on the department's WeChat group, and the latest chat record is: "The captain is not here, and I can't see the captain's beauty in his prime. It feels so lonely. Suyi, I don't know how the captain records the show. How does he get along with other guests? Can you get an autograph for me? Yuqian, I read the news on the internet, and I feel that the captain and Mo have a strong sense of camaraderie. Suyi, tisk, the captain is as indifferent as a common man. Where did you get the sense of CP? For me, best actor Wen Jiming and our captain are more similar to each other. I was confused when I saw the captain's response to Wen Jiming. Yes, the captain actually responds to other people's Weibo posts. There is a reasonable suspicion that there is an inappropriate relationship between the captain and Wen Yingdi. Long Hao." He was silent for a moment and chose to mute all members. "I originally planned to find someone to learn from, but I changed my mind. This group of people seemed a little idle, so I told them that I was afraid that all kinds of gossip would spread in the group tomorrow." He had just been banned here, and immediately his mobile phone received several private messages. They all asked what happened. Long Hao ignored these things, clicked on the chat page with Wen Jiming, and sent a screenshot of the chat history between himself and Mo to the other party. Wen Jiming. He looked down at the screenshot Long Hao sent him. Long Hao didn't type in the code, and the content of the chat was very clear. The person above was undoubtedly Mo. As for the content, Wen Jiming understood a little bit, but he didn't understand what Long Hao meant by sending this to him. "Hao, I can't reject her directly, and I don't want to get closer to her. What should I do?" Wen Jiming : He was even more confused. "Wen Jiming, Mo is trying to show his kindness to you. It seems that he may have a crush on you, or he may want to cooperate with you to increase the popularity. You don't want both?" Hao, yeah. Wen Jiming, but is there any reason why you can't directly clarify the relationship with her? Hao, yeah. Wen Jiming was speechless. He probably knew the reason. Long Hao had revealed to him before that participating in this show was related to work, and this work was probably related to Mo. He thought for a while and said, "Anyway, it's all for work and I participated in the show. Why don't you just cooperate with her in acting? Everyone is happy." Long Hao looked at the few lines of words on the screen and his eyes darkened. "I do not like her. See you later. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 1096. Wen Jiming said to himself that she didn't want you to like her, it was just a show. He called Long Hao. The call was quickly answered. Hao, is there no one else around you?" he asked. Long Hao, no. Wen Jiming began to speak, "Looking at the picture you sent me, Mo may not like you that much. I really hate that someone I like will not give such obvious hints just after we met. In the entertainment industry, everyone is true or false. Mo most likely wants to cooperate with you. I watched your show. Jinli and Mr. Lu Qingyuan, and Su Hexiang are almost all tied together. They are already very popular. You, the two of them really suffered. Mo probably saw it himself." After hearing what he said a lot, Long Hao couldn't help but frown. "So what is your focus?" Wen Jiming, the point is, I think they want to cooperate with you to make CP popular or something. This is a common method used by artists, and it won't have much impact. When the show ends, the two of you will there is no connection between them, and fans will soon forget them." Long Hao asked, Have you ever speculated with many people? In fact, he knew not. Wen Jiming has been in the industry for so many years, and there has never been any scandal around him. Wen Jiming was stunned for a moment, then he laughed and said, "Me? I don't need to rely on scandals to gain popularity for myself." Long Hao said, "I don't need it either. I don't want to be popular, and I don't need this kind of popularity." "Okay, that's understandable." Wen Jiming added, "So what you're saying is that you don't want to cooperate with her, but you can't directly clarify the relationship with her." Long Hao, "Yeah." Wen Jiming, "Well, then I can only pretend not to understand. The straight man doesn't understand the style." Long Hao. Wen Jiming smiled and said, "You are acting in your true colors, there is no pressure at all, right?" Long Hao. He opened his mouth. There was a sudden busy tone on the other side. Wen Jiming said, "I will answer the phone later and call you later." Long Hao thought for a while and said, "I have nothing to do, so I'll just hang up." He hung up the phone and returned to WeChat. Click on Momo's chat box. The most recent sentence is still there. "It's settled, you have to take care of me tomorrow." There are only 3 girls in the show, and they are all taken care of. He typed the reply with a cold expression. Wen Hao, there are many staff in the program team who are casual and will take good care of everyone. Mo, who was applying a facial mask, clicked on her phone. "I've already hinted at this, do you really not understand? Do I have to directly say that I want to have a close relationship with you?" She is not a little transparent, she has been going smoothly in the past 3 years, her fans are supporting her, and the industry is also optimistic about her, saying that she is a rare new star in the flower country's music scene, which is at a low ebb this year. It was enough to patiently talk so much nonsense to Long Hao before, but this reply left her speechless. Mo ignored him. The chain on her wrist suddenly shimmered, and a bit of red light floated out from the chain pendant, and a hazy figure in red overflowed in mid-air. The man in red stood in front of Mo and looked down at her. Mo shrank back subconsciously, she was afraid. Even though they have known each other for 3 years, she has always been afraid of this man. She knew very well that everything she had was brought about by the person in front of her. He said it himself, he could give her everything, and he could destroy everything she had. She could only please him and flatter him. Fear him. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 1097. Seeing her like this, the man in red raised his eyebrows in displeasure. "It's been 3 years. When will you get rid of the timidity in your bones?" The man in red didn't like Mo very much. He needs his host Hong to bring him what he wants. But who would get the jade pendant he had parasitized was not something he could decide at that time, when he was weak. After Mo got him, he was forced to make a contract with this ordinary girl. Fortunately, he had the ability to make one for her since he had no singing talent. Without creative talent, he can deliver excellent work. Even if she looks ordinary, he has the means to make her beautiful bit by bit. But he can't change his inner character. So does temperament. This kind of thing can only be cultivated slowly over time. Mo has raised her for 3 years, and she has raised her enough to deceive most people in the world. She has raised her to the point where she looks like a BeautifulFemale who is truly elegant and well educated from the inside out. However, in the eyes of the man in red, she is still not good enough. After all, his past came from a place of splendor, wealth, gold, and jade. After hearing his words, Mo didn't dare to refute. She has always been cautious in front of men. Little did they know that the more she acted like this, the more men would look down on her. He couldn't help but think of the other people from the program team he had met while following Mo this time. "We are both women. Take a look at the two people who participated in the show with you. The one named Suhexiang has such a well-mannered manner and temperament. Don't you feel ashamed when you look at her? The man in red thought, it would be great if he met Suhexiang. That way you don't even need to put in any effort and you can get what you want quickly. Mo retorted in a low voice, Suhexiang is a born eldest lady. She was raised in a family of words and deeds since she was a child. How can I compare? She took Jinli as an example. How many people like Suhexiang can there be in the entire entertainment industry? Look at Jinli, doesn't he have the scholarly temperament like her? Man in red. It was okay that Mo didn't mention Jinli. When he mentioned Jinli, he laughed angrily. What Jinli are you talking about? What kind of temperament and demeanor do you need to look like her? Not to mention. He thought carefully about the way Jin Lion smiled at Yan Yan, shook his head and sighed, what do you know? For people like her, it is best to naturally carve out the most natural and spiritual look, like this world. It's as if half of the spiritual energy in the room is given to her. What kind of scholarly quality do you want? Mo really didn't understand. She could only tell that Jinli was really beautiful, so beautiful that even a woman would often look at her and lose her mind. The man in red looked at Mo as if he were looking at a piece of rotten wood. After thinking about Jinli and Suhexiang, he couldn't help but laugh and thought of the other three men participating in the show. Thinking of the appearance and temperament of the three of them, I feel both admiration and pity. That's right, that Wen Hao, I think he has a cold face and a cold heart. It is extremely difficult for someone to fall in love with such a person. It's normal that you can't hook up with him. But if you hook up with him easily, I will feel strangeness. Mo. Isn't this just plainly saying that Wen Hao looks down on him? She was dissatisfied, but she couldn't say anything. But the man in red saw it clearly and sneered, what, you are still not convinced? Mo whispered, how can I be considered a celebrity in the music industry now? He is a newcomer, why should he look down on me? Alas. Good night. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 1098. When the man in red heard what she said, he only looked her up and down without saying a word. After people get something, their hearts will become bigger. Everyone is like this. Everyone is a layman. Anyway, control your temper. I don't care what method you use, whether it's seduction or mind-blowing, you have to hook him before the end of this show. Mo said in a muffled voice. She was a little unhappy in her heart, but she also knew better that it was useless to be unhappy. The next day, the guests wore easy-to-move sportswear and followed the program team by car to the destination of this challenge. In order to film the show, this scenic spot was closed today, and no tourists came to disturb them. However, from a distance, there were several scenic spot staff taking photos of a few people. Jinli was wearing a white sportswear, and her long hair was tied up into a bun. She looked youthful and looked like a teenage girl. The photographer was immediately struck by the beauty, and the camera kept moving towards Jinli. If he hadn't remembered that this was a group variety show, he might have been able to record the whole show for Jinli alone. Lu Zhenjia and Nao Po were obviously wearing couples outfits, light gray and the same style. The people on the program team were a little uncomfortable with such a generous show of affection at first, but after experiencing it twice, they got used to it. The main reason is that you are not used to it and there is nothing you can do about it. They are legal, a married couple who have obtained certificates. A show of affection is also a show of righteousness, who can't allow it? Mo stood aside and looked at Jinli with wide eyes. She was really convinced. Standing so close to him, She couldn't see the slightest sense of disharmony in Jinli. She really looks like a 28-year-old girl, and her whole body is absolutely capable of beating under the high-definition camera. Mo felt a little sour in her heart. She touched her face. She stayed up most of the night last night because of the man in red. When she woke up this morning, it was obvious that her face was not looking good and the dark circles under her eyes were a bit heavy. She put on a facial mask and put on makeup to suppress her haggardness. She thought of something and turned to look for Wen Hao. The other party was a little strange. Everyone was wearing sportswear, but at this time, he was still wearing a black windbreaker, as if this was the only piece of clothing in his wardrobe, although Mo admitted that this outfit was very handsome. His eyes remained on him as always. Mo snorted dissatisfied in her heart, but she regained her composure when she saw that Long Hao didn't pay attention to him either. Such a radiant beauty stood there, and he didn't even look at her. Therefore, the failure to hook up with Wen Hao is not at all due to him. This Wen Hao doesn't believe in Buddhism, right? As pure and ascetic as a monk. Mo put a smile on his face and walked over to say hello to Wen Hao. Why are you still wearing a windbreaker? Aren't you worried that it will be inconvenient to move later? Long Hao replied with 2 words, not afraid. Mo. She continued to smile. It seems that the talented instructor at Wenzhou University is so bold that he doesn't take this small ropeway seriously at all. Last night, she specifically checked the news about Zhao Wenhao on the internet. After checking, she found out that the other party was not some unknown little coach who had won some international championships. She didn't understand that game either, but it sounded pretty awesome anyway. So we speculate and conclude, Wen Hao is also very powerful. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 1099. Moreover, she came across various information last night, which mentioned that Wen Hao was not just an ordinary martial arts coach, but also a kid from a wealthy family. She believed it without much doubt, like many netizens. Everyone's logic is very similar. You have such a high starting point when you come out, and you are so good looking and have such a good temperament. Even an ordinary person would find it strange. If it were a young master from a rich family, it would be very understandable and explainable. Mainly this kind of conjecture is more in line with Wen Hao's impression on everyone. The same goes for Mo in her heart. It is much easier for a rich man with superior appearance, temperament, and family status to refuse her advances than an ordinary man who looks down on her and has nothing better than her except good looks. It's normal for people who are stronger than you to look down on yourself. If a low guy doesn't look down on himself, it makes him frustrated and even angry. Wen Hao heard her words, looked at her, and said lightly, "This ropeway is indeed not difficult for me." Mo looked curious. "Have you been through this before?" Long Hao shook his head. "I have never been here, but I have conducted similar training." Similar training? Even the other people standing aside were a little curious. Su Hexiang was grateful for Long Hao's help that night, and couldn't help but said, "I know the ancient martial arts of the Flower Kingdom. To lay the foundation, you usually need basic skills such as the horse step and the plum blossom pile. Have you practiced it?" Long Hao nodded. "These are indeed the basics, and there are others." As he spoke, he looked towards the ropeway, pointed and said, "I have also gone through similar training. It's just that it's much more difficult for him to contact than this. Of course, there is no need to tell others this kind of thing." Jinli was standing at the entrance of the ropeway, looking down. When the wind is stronger, this ropeway even sways slightly among the cliffs. If you look a little further, you can see the bottomless ravine below. It's really scary. But Jinli was not afraid. Not only was she not afraid, she even stretched out a foot to step on him. The 2 sides of the ropeway are not fixed, so when you step on it, the whole ropeway will shake. Wow, Jinli was a little excited. it's so exciting. The staff of the program team nearby were stopping her. In a place like this, it is very dangerous if you don't wear protective measures. Several other people also came closer. Mo originally wanted to talk to Long Hao more, but he forgot all about it while standing here. He swallowed and looked at the staff. Are we all leaving? The staff member nodded with a smile, yes. Mo bit her lip, can't we just walk? Is there any punishment for failing the challenge? The staff member smiled, you can fail in the challenge, but you must go up and challenge. You won't be able to do it if you don't leave. Mo walked closer to the edge of the cliff and took a look down. At just one glance, he felt like the world was spinning. She covered her chest and took 2 steps back, showing a scared expression to the camera. I don't dare to do it, she said and looked at Jinli. Seeing Jinli's eagerness to try, she was startled and turned to look at Suhexiang. Suhexiang also frowned slightly and looked a little uneasy. Mo seemed to see hope. Susu, you don't want to leave this either, right? Suhexiang looked at her strangely and smiled, I'm a little scared, but since I have participated in the show, of course I still have to give it a try. Don't be afraid, everyone will go with you. See you later. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 1100. This is indeed the truth. When you participate in this variety show and get paid, you have to do things. Moreover, for this kind of show, the safety measures are sufficient, and nothing will happen to the guests. Just overcome your fear and participate. It's actually better to be scared. Rather than watching you act calmly, the audience prefers to see the guests being scared. Momo was a little frustrated because she couldn't win an alliance. She turned her eyes and looked at Long Hao again. Wen Hao, how about I go with you later? You cover me and follow you, the boss, so I feel more at ease. Long Hao told her very seriously, it is better for one person to walk this kind of ropeway alone, because the chain is unstable. If we walk together, unless we are partners who work well together, it is easy to affect each other. Mo. The photographer kept recording, and she had no scruples about complaining, so she could only say dully, okay. The staff began to provide safety measures to the guests, such as safety ropes and non-slip gloves. After handing out the gifts, the host began to introduce the origin of this naturally dangerous ropeway. The guests were listening, and finally the host looked at them. Who are you? Who is going to come first? Several people looked at each other, and Long Hao was the first to stand up. I go first. The host smiled and said, Wen Hao took the lead in proposing the challenge. He is very brave and confident. Let us all see how Lian Jiazi survives the natural dangers. Does Wen Hao have anything to say to the audience before taking part in the challenge? Long Hao thought for a moment and shook his head, no. Host. He forced a smile. It seems that Wen Hao is relatively shy and taciturn, ha ha ha, so let's stop talking nonsense and give the answer with strength. Everyone. If you are reticent, you are reticent. What the hell is being shy? Look at Wen Hao's face, does it look a little shy? It's not easy for you, host, to compose sentences with your eyes closed. Long Hao had already put on protective measures, but refused when the staff handed over the gloves, saying that he did not need them. Mo looked a little confused. Why doesn't he want gloves? Jinli responded smoothly, there's no need for it. She still recognized Long Hao's strength. If it was difficult to cross such a small ropeway, the position of the dragon team could be given to others immediately. The camera followed Long Hao, and several other guests also stared at Long Hao closely. He looked calm and stepped on it. The crisp sound of metal collision began to sound. The entire ropeway began to shake slightly. Mo immediately covered his mouth and stared at Long Hao unblinkingly. However, such turmoil did not have any impact on Long Hao. He didn't even pause. He stepped on the wooden board under his feet and walked forward very steadily, step by step, while shaking. The mountain wind on the top of the cliff blew up the hem of his windbreaker, and his upright figure looked indescribably beautiful against the background of the distant mountains. Mo was stunned for a moment. After realizing it, he couldn't help but murmured, "Wen Hao looks so relaxed. This ropeway doesn't seem to be as scary as he imagined." Hearing this, Jinli remembered the feeling of stepping on it just now. She said to herself that it's not scary. "You'll find out later when you go up there." Long Hao walked very fast and covered a distance of hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye. At least he still remembered that he was recording a program, so he turned around on the ropeway and waved to everyone. "You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess." Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 1101. His expression was calm and his figure was steady, which calmed the hearts of the remaining people. People who were a little nervous at first looked at his appearance and calmed down. Looking like this, it's not as scary as they imagined. It took Long Hao 5 minutes to complete the 500-meter cableway. When he finished the journey, the host was amazed. Of course, their work team was familiar with the venue in advance, and they had also been on this ropeway themselves. It is impossible to walk as easily as Wen Hao. If they hadn't watched Wen Hao walk up there, they would have thought it was a fake ropeway. But the host thinks so in his heart, but of course it is impossible to say it with his mouth. He praised, "Wen Hao is indeed a professional, with a stable foundation and a good start for our guests. So who will be next?" Mo couldn't wait to speak. "I'll do it." As she watched Long Hao finish walking, she felt a little confident in her heart. Moreover, the two who leave early will definitely have more shots and will be more topical when the time comes. A good opportunity cannot be missed. No one argued with her. Mo asked the staff to tie a safety rope on himself, put on non-slip gloves, carefully grabbed the chains on both sides, and stepped on it. The imagined steady feeling of being grounded is not there. As soon as he took the first step down, Mo felt his feet shaking violently from side to side. Her eyes widened, she grabbed the chains on both sides with both hands, screamed, and bent over, not daring to move. But even so, the shaking under his feet did not stop. Mo hunched over fearfully, neither continuing to walk nor daring to move, just staring at his feet. After a while, her feet finally became more stable. She turned around in panic. "Isn't it very stable? Why is it so scary?" "Other people." The host had a smile on his face. Mo, none of us have ever said this is a safe ropeway. When it comes to the natural ropeway, everyone says it's very exciting." Mo. The host was still comforting her. "Don't be afraid, take your time, it's actually not that scary. Look at how relaxed Wen Hao is." Mo. "It's okay if you don't mention Wen Hao, but I feel even more terrible when you mention him. Is this the way? Still don't need help? Just walked over like walking on flat ground." She muttered a few words in her heart, grabbed the chains on both sides with both hands, raised one foot and took a step forward. But as soon as he lifted his feet, his center of gravity shifted. As his center of gravity shifted, the board under his feet began to shake again. Mo. Several other people standing at the starting point listened to Mo's screams and watched her trembling forward on the ropeway with trembling steps. Su Hexiang's expression was complicated. Wen Hao is indeed worthy of being a practicing master. Asterisk. In the distance, the staff taking pictures with cameras were all having fun. They came here not only to photograph celebrities, but also on a promotional mission. Take photos. You can't take too many shots, and you can't take too boring shots. You still have to have something interesting. The two staff members responsible for the filming originally thought this task would be a bit difficult. Who knew, Wen Hao would appear in the first moment. That guy was standing on the ropeway between the cliffs, walking like a god. With this figure, he is not afraid of not attracting attention. This wasn't the end yet, Mo was immediately following behind the deity. The comparison is amazing. I will make an edit and release it later. I am definitely looking forward to it. Good night. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 1102. Mo is still on the ropeway now. She was almost crying. Just now, she managed to walk dozens of meters away. But the whole body was too tight, and now my waist was sore, my legs were weak, and the hands holding the chains on both sides were so hard that they hurt. Mo slowly squatted down and stopped moving. People from the program crew were calling her and cheering her on. Mo squatted on the ropeway, not daring to relax his hands, feeling the shaking on both sides under his feet, and turned around carefully. I don't want to leave. It's terrible, she shouted. Asterisk. While Mo was arguing with the staff, an industry insider with hundreds of thousands of followers on Weibo also posted a video. It's about travel with me. The picture is not very high definition, and the distance is obviously very far away. But this does not affect the feeling of everyone in the picture. In the beginning, it was a full vision. Between the towering mountain peaks, there is a slender cableway, as small as a silk thread, and the silk thread is even swaying slightly. You can see the danger through the video. It's actually this dangerous ropeway, damn it, I've been to this place before. It looks so scary. What are you doing? Do guests want to walk over? Brother who has been there before, please come out and share your thoughts. I'm here, I'm sure this is the fatal ropeway in Yunlin Mountain. Let me describe it. It is very long. The official said it is 500 meters. When I walked, I felt like I had walked for 2 hours. On both sides are iron chains as thick as a thumb, with a height difference of about 10 centimeters. The tallest one is probably a little higher than my waist. There are wooden boards under my feet when I step on them. There are chains on both sides. Akira, that feeling, have you ever sat on a swing? It's like stepping on a swing. Stepping on the swing, that's quite fun. That is, there is a flat ground less than 1 meter under your swing. Of course it is fun, but there is an abyss below this thing, and the wind at the top of the mountain is so strong that it will sway there by itself even if you don't move. Anyway, I will never go there again in my life. Someone came up, the camera zoomed in, it was Wen Hao. Damn, this man is so handsome. Why can a mortal get out of the posture of a god? This aura is really amazing. It is obviously a high-quality video. When he left like this, I felt that I had walked out of the slow motion and exclusive BGM feeling. Forcing the king at 1. At brother, I see that Wen Hao walked very calmly. Are you sure this is the ropeway you walked on? Looks like I'm sure, but looking at this guy's look, I'm not sure. I went there last year. Could it be that due to maintenance this year, it's not so exciting? The one in front is bragging, right? How many people would play such an exciting project? That's too much to brag about. The Yunlin Mountain Cableway is so famous and there are quite a few people who have been there. I suggest you search the internet for a few videos and you'll know. I don't care whether it's irritating or not, I just saw that man turning around, this figure, this look back at you, husband, you are so handsome. Why are some women always so nymphomaniacal? Their faces are so blurry that the camera can't see them clearly. Can you tell that he's handsome? Bah, straight men know nothing. Actually, as a man, I also think these singers are quite handsome. They are that kind of handsome, very masculine and tough. The body, posture, and temperament are really good.